Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Social Media Decoded podcast, the number one podcast to help you understand social media better so that you grow your business, get more clients, and monetize. And today I am excited, probably more excited than I usually am, because today I'm talking to one of my amazing friends and clients, Veronica. You may have heard me talk about her before because she is just that awesome, and her story is even more awesome. So, welcome, Veronica, to the Social Media Decoded podcast. So excited to chat with you today.
Hello, and hello to everybody that's listening. I am super excited to chat with you, Michelle. It's been a long time coming.
Yes, yes, we have been trying to put this podcast episode together for you all for a very long time. So, you're in for a treat. And so, I want to hop right into it. So, Veronica, I want you to tell the people, how did you get started with the brand that you have now? Because I know when we met, you were doing something totally different. So I want to start off there,
Mhm.
how you kind of transition into what it is that you do now.
Absolutely. So, hello, everybody. Those of you who are listening, I'm Veronica, also known as Brown Skin Plant Mama, and I am a mother, an entrepreneur, an educator, a plant lover, all the things. So, when I think about how I got started and transitioned into this space, it all boils down to my just innate ability to inspire people to really see what their potential is like in themselves. I'm a natural born coach. I have the training, and the education and the corporate background, right, in that space. And I really took those skills and applied them to my innate ability to connect with women. I love connecting with women. I love coaching women. I love being able to inspire women to tap into their passions and their purpose. And so I started out in my entrepreneur journey coaching women towards their professional and personal development. And everything changed in 2020 for not just myself, but for everybody. And even before the pandemic happened, I had just felt this universal pull, right, for me to be able to transition into a new space. I was in the space of creating events and conferences and women's summits to tap into other people's passion and purpose. And I had tapped myself out. Girl, I was tapped out. So in transition into everything that was happening during the pandemic, I really found myself getting back to a root activity that I had been raised in. And really, to be honest with you, when you think about parenting, when you think about gardening, when you think about personal development, all of those things coincide with each other. So when I got back into caring for plants and gardening, it was like, girl, where you been? This is what you were supposed to be doing in the first place. So I said to myself, you know what, Veronica, it's time for you to stop pouring into other people and pour into yourself. And what brought me back around to that is my practice of caring for houseplants, getting back into the earth, gardening. Plant therapy became something that was something that was already within me, but it was an intentional practice, right, that I had started to really pay attention to, that I had started to share with my daughter, that I had started to share with my husband, and we really just got in tune with everything that had to do with taking care of ourselves and taking care of plants and getting back one with the earth in 2020. So I was able to pivot and position myself into something that was already naturally happening within me without force, without, fighting myself or, having to release something that meant a lot to me. It was more like I graduated from personal development coaching and graduated into something that was going to be beneficial, first and foremost, for myself. Then I realized as I started to talk more about it that I was building a community that was evolving without me knowing. I was showing up being authentic, and girl, the rest is history.
I love your story because it's a testament that we can start doing something else on social media. Like me, I started as a natural hair influencer, but then we can pivot. And in 2020, this was the time when everybody was at home and everybody was buying plants. So it was like
Everybody.
the perfect time for you to transition. And honestly, when you came to me, you were like, yeah, like there's a such thing as a plant influencer. I was like, these people plant influence. And I even had to look it up like, wow, there are people with YouTube pages. There are people with so many different avenues talking about plants and how
Yeah.
they help them. It was like the collection of plants, I think, in 2020. Like everybody was at the plant store, they was at Home Depot, it was in their content. So I think
Oh,
that that was a really
no.
good time. Yeah, for you to transition into that. And
Yeah.
I want to talk about like that transition too, because being a coach and then like transitioning to being an influencer, it's kind of different. So
It
what were
is.
some things that you had to work on, like especially with your content? And I know we talked about like content pillars and really focusing on those key factors that you wanted to share, but what was that transition like with the content that you were sharing? Most people feel like they can't like directly just go into talking about the new thing, but I kind of feel like you just have to rip the band-aid off and just start posting.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, for me, it was really I had to get over overthinking it, right? Like I was already doing what it is that I'm showing up doing on social media already. So if I back up right and if I share with y'all that Brown Skin Plant Mama was a way for me to showcase my love for plants. I had no intention on showing my face on the platform. All I was going to do was show my brown hand, right, and my beautiful plant. And so that started my content right there. Plant education, right? Being able to identify plants, being able to talk to people about how to care for them and how to give them the things that they needed and how to not overthink caring for plants and how to make plants work for your environment, right? So for me, I was like, okay, I'm doing some of these things already. I need to not overthink what it is that I'm putting out there. And you helped me with that because you were like, girl, what are you doing? You already have the stuff. Stop trying to overcomplicate it by putting yourself into these different like boxes, right? Be the content. And I remember you saying that to me. And I was like, I am the damn content. That's right. Be the content, show up authentic, be visible so people know who you are first and foremost. I did not come into this space trying to put on this type of persona. And I think that, and I'm not saying that other coaches do, but there is a sense of pressure that comes with being a coach and having to show up a certain type of way to attract the client that you want to work with. And you have to be polished. And you know, the things that we get into our head with how it is that we're supposed to show up. So for me, it was like, all right, I can put this to the side for once, right? I don't have to have the answer as the coach that people are coming to listen to and get ideas and insight from. I can show up and be like, got this plant today, killed it 3 days later. You know what I'm saying? I'm able to just transition into that space and say, my pillars are me. So I'm a mother, brown skin plant mama. I'm going to give you advice on what it looks like for me to be mothering with my two now children, right? I love plants, the plant therapy part. I always talk about myself as the plant therapy advocate, right? Or the house plant therapist. So people knew that when it came to caring for houseplants, for me, it was more than just a cute houseplant on a shelf. The plants were purposeful for me, right? So I was bringing people education about plants, how they're beneficial for your mind, your body, your soul, your physical, your mental, your spiritual. And so, because I was working in a space that was truly authentic and truly a part of my passion, the content came naturally. I didn't overthink it. Y'all, when we start to overthink like some of the things that are out there and trending, we can lose track on what it is that we're supposed to be serving people towards, right? So sometimes it does take me a while to get on to the trends and the tricks, you know. I know for you, you was like, Veronica, if you don't post a reel, I'm gonna hurt you. What?
I did not say I will hurt you. Do not scare these people.
Those are my
I
words, not
recommended that you use reels.
Michelle's words, not my word, or my words, not Michelle's words. But you know, helping people understand that you can use these tools to be able to elevate and enhance what it is that you want people to hear from you. But at the core of it, y'all should be having fun. It should not be overworked. It should not be overthought. Because that's when we get in a place of stagnation and we stop doing things because we feel crippled or limited.
Yeah, and I think many people can relate to that. They feel they don't want to post. We showing up too much. It's too much. It should be fun, y'all. This is fun for me. When I do these podcasts, I'm so excited every day. and we're in the month of February, so I don't know when you're going to listen to this because I pre-record these episodes and I'm recording 28 episodes in February. When I tell you I'm so excited to talk to each guest, and that means 28 guest episodes plus the other episodes that I'm doing. But since I love social media and marketing, it just comes natural to me. So whatever your business is, your niche is, it should just come natural to you. Just like Veronica said, she loved plants. So it wasn't hard for her just to take that concept of what she was already doing and now show it to everybody. Here's how you care for plants. I didn't even know, like, because I was calling you, like, my plant dying. What do I need to cut this yellow leaf off? What do the yellow leaf mean? So, if you are creating content that you're passionate about, it's just going to come across. And I felt like your page, I was able to come to your page and get the information that I needed to care for my plants, to check out new plants. I mean, you had came out with merch and all these things. So I'm just
Yeah.
so excited for you. I'm
Thank
so excited for
you.
your brand. Even since we first met, it has just blossomed into so much more, which we're going to talk about. But I want to talk about going from 0 to 10K, which people don't think is totally possible. And I will sit here as a testament to tell y'all that Veronica started at zero. She started at zero
Yes.
and was able to go to 10,000 followers in a year. Can you talk about some of the things or strategies that you use to get to that? And I know a huge part is community building, because if y'all see
Mhm.
Veronica's community, you'll know that she built that like brick by brick. It wasn't like an overnight success, but
Right.
to be able to go from 0 to 10K in a year is that's good.
Yeah. So I started in 2020, y'all, in April of 2020, or it may have been May. I can't remember the actual
It was
month,
April.
but it was April. Okay, so April of 2020. Again, I started off by thinking that I was going to show up a certain type of way, right? And so for me, it was a creative outlet that didn't allow for me to overthink anything. I was very much so intentional and just freely sharing my plants is what I love to do. Um, but I had realized that it was more than just showing my plants. When I, for the very first time, shared my story of how, first of all, my mom is a master gardener. So, those of you who follow me, you know I always give big ups to Dolly, because if it weren't for Dolly, I wouldn't be here talking about this right now. But I grew up around plants. And so, what led me to the therapeutic nature of them, though, was the sudden passing of my sister in 2018. And so I didn't realize what was happening in my life around me is that I was starting to collect plants and care for plants even when she had moved her life out here to Pennsylvania to come and be my daughter's nanny. I had started to collect plants. And then through the transition of dealing with the grief, I was pouring myself into nurturing and caring for something else. So I had already gone through that process. I had gone through that process for a year of working with my own therapist, doing talk therapy. Um, but I decided one day, I said, this is so powerful. And I wonder if other people are using plants for therapy too. So I toyed with the idea of showing my face. I was like hidden behind like this plant and I was using the portrait mode of my iPhone. And so I said, I just shared with people a little bit about how plants are helping me to heal. When I did that, I got a lot of engagement on that post. Um, and then what I started to do was I noticed that using the hashtag plant therapy or plant therapy is real, I came up with that hashtag, people were starting to use it. And I said, okay, well, people are paying attention. I'm noticing that other people are also using plants for therapy. One day I showed my whole face and it was like my introduction to Instagram. And this was before reels, y'all. This was before the videos was going viral and all of this. This is when we were just using static images on Instagram to build community. I showed my face for the first time, and I kid you not, if you all go to my page and you see my engagement from the static pictures of the plants to when I introduced myself, that post went viral. People were like, oh my God, I've been wondering who was behind this page. I've been wondering who was posting these pictures of these plants. And my girl Nia is one of the closest things to me in the plant community till this day. She's the Bloom Journey is her name. She was on there like, girl, you don't understand. I've been following you from the beginning. And I've been waiting to see who was behind this page. So I said, okay, this is more than just what I thought it was going to be. So I accepted the call. Usually I'm always in these positions to accept the call of being that reminder to people of what's possible, that reminder to people that you have with what you need within you to make change, to prosper, to grow, to develop. So I said, you know what? This community for me is going to be more than just posting cute little plant pictures, which a lot of folks on IG during that time were doing. No shade to them, but for me, it was about more than that. It was about me answering the call of being an influence in people's lives and tapping into them and helping them see what's possible. So I started to engage more on posts. I started to ask questions on my posts. I started to use hashtags and follow those hashtags. And I started to actually genuinely engage with people, right? It wasn't like, oh, give me a like for a like, follow for a follow. I quickly saw that those follow for follows, I was like, this ain't it. I don't even want to see the content that y'all got out here. So I started to be very much intentional about ways to engage with people, and that allow for my profile and people to see me under other people's pictures. We started to converse with each other, right? So that's how we started to build community and to engage with each other. And then what I wanted to do is I wanted to be a part of the community that thanked those who were following me and who were engaging with me. So I would do giveaways, and I would do giveaways that were very specific to the plant community. And I mean like huge plants, right? And I would do things where people felt that they could interact with me and that they were almost like, I don't want to say thanked, but it was like, yo, she's giving value, right? So I was giving value by the content that I was putting out there, giving value by sharing my story, and also giving value by giving things away. Because I'm not in this community, I'm not doing this work to just receive. I want to impact people's lives, and I want to spread the message that plant therapy is real. And I want everybody in the world who comes across me and that interacts with me to feel that when they talk to me, and to feel that and know that what they thought was not something possible, it actually is possible. So, as I thought about the ways that I went from zero in April of 2020 to 10K, I think it was in February of 2021, that we have reached 10K. And even then, it wasn't about me reaching that for myself. It was about providing access and a voice for the community, because I'm very vocal and I will say what I want to say on my page. And if you don't like it, then you don't have to follow along. But it was about me using my voice also for people who were not seen. Because at that point in time, Instagram was like, oh, we're going to put these folks up, and we're going to put these folks up, and we're going to, make sure that these folks are visible. So we tapped into that platform and gave voice to people who did not have voices, and swipe ups to folks who didn't have access to that. And that was a way for me to genuinely build and continue to build my community in a very effective way.
And authentic and organic. That is such a
Yeah.
great story. And just a testament to, you just never know by showing your face how that can change everything. And by you
Yep.
showing your face and showing who was behind the page, it just opened up so many opportunities for you, which I want to talk about next. Like, you've been featured in local articles, you've been had brand deals, stuff overseas, and all of this is because social
Yeah.
media. So just by you showing up, posting what you would normally post about and talk about, created all
Hmm.
these other opportunities. So let's talk about that for a second. After you gained this visibility and now people are reaching out to you, how was that? Because I was so excited when you were like, girl, these people are reaching out to me.
Yeah, it's fun. It's some things are very laughable. You like, you want me to do what? Stop playing to me. But some things are very much so like, wow. I remember when I was contacted by this documentary company in the UK, to produce a 1 minute documentary film about plant therapy and how nature was a big part of my life. And y'all, I was like, when I saw the contract and I saw, like, I was like, this is this real? I was like, Michelle, look at this. You was like, girl, this real. So I, I went and I researched the ID number for the nonprofit, and it had been real. And I was meeting with the producers and getting some storyboards together with the things that they wanted to see from me, that was on brand for the story that they wanted to create. And y'all, 1 minute does not seem like a lot, but it took a lot of work and hours to create that 1 minute video. But it was really fun to work with producers. I had never done that before, so that was pretty cool. And even locally, I have a lot of support locally. One of my really good friends, Jenny, she's the owner of the Curious Plantaholic, and every single time that she is approached about something plant related, she's like, "You know, Brown Skin Plant Mama, she talk about plant therapy." So it's a lot of support here locally. I would not be where I am without the support of my community. And so when it comes to plant therapy for kids, being in the local magazine, being on PBS, being featured in other online magazines. Exo Nicole was really dope. I was like, okay, this is fun, right? And it feels good to know that people are noticing the work that's being done and the fact that they were interested in what I was doing because it was something that was not just basic, right? It was about wellness. And it was about plant therapy being a tenet of personal wellness and growth. And so I'm really excited to tap into that as my next opportunity of, growing this brand for me to tap into that wellness space, creating the retreats that I'm doing, being able to talk on college campuses, is really surreal for me. And I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to come into these spaces and be uniquely myself, and authentically myself. And even with a former employer, now I get to go on campus and be like, here's the invoice, right? But they see value in me first, right? As Veronica, I created those opportunities of networking, and I was a great employee at that time, right? And so when it was time for me to come on campus and deliver a message to the students, they trusted my work prior to that, and now they trust what it is that I'm doing in this wellness sphere. So that is, what I have to say about just being authentic and seeing the opportunities come your way. And put your head down, y'all. Don't worry about the person that's next to you or behind you or in front of you. Like, just be uniquely you. And I promise you the opportunities will come. And it does not matter what somebody else thinks about the opportunity or how large or big it is, because if it's meaningful for you, then go ahead and do it and make that opportunity be the stepping stone for you to grow into many different realms that you probably hadn't even thought about before, because that's where I am presently and it feels good.
I love that. And I hope y'all was taking notes because she just dropped a whole master class to help all of you. So I'm so excited for you. And I'm just so excited to see the growth and all the awesome opportunities. And yes, I looked that thing up and was like, girl, reply. Cause that is real. That is real with some real money attached behind it. But again,
Mm,
it just shows to the testament of you showing up authentically yourself, because that's the only thing that I know how to do. So that's the only thing that I can teach my clients to do, is to show up yourself. I am myself on Instagram, Facebook, in person. And me and Veronica haven't even met in person yet, but we've talked on the
right,
phone, on Zoom. But this is who I am on Zoom, on the text. When you text me, it's the same exact person. And you will attract your tribe and build your community if you just show up as you. When we look at other people and what they're doing and we try to imitate that, it doesn't come off really good, right? Because you're not being true to who you are. So
right,
stick to that, and the opportunities will come. Just like they came for Veronica, they will come for you too, but you just have to be your true authentic self. And who knew that plant therapy was I did not know. And so this is like a huge evolution to showcase the world of creative entrepreneurship, and that you can do seriously anything. Tie your shoes. I don't know. You can make a course about that. It can be literally anything, not necessarily tying your shoes. I'm joking about that, but you can create a course about anything. So I'm really excited to share your story, and I'm excited that you came on the podcast. But before we head out on today's episode, I like to talk about books. So, were there any books or resources that have helped you on your entrepreneur journey building this brand? Because we know that there's so much that goes into it. Do you have any books or resources that you want to share with our listeners?
You know what? For me, the resources, I'm tapping into resources that are more in the realm of what it is that I'm doing right now. But what I will say, some personal development resources. The Four Agreements are absolutely amazing. Start with Why is absolutely amazing. There are lots of things that you can do to show up in different industries, right? So one thing that I would encourage you all to do is to tap into different industries that you're not a part of and learn from those industries and how to apply to what it is that you're doing. I love to do that professionally. I'm starting to do that in my personal brand also, but I love to watch and learn what people are doing in the industry of social media marketing, right? And following people like you, Michelle, and my friend Dominique, who has a lot of work and just does dope stuff with wellness and things of that nature. I love to follow Adria Richmond, right? Like she does some amazing things in terms of marketing. So I
Oh, I
like
got
to
to get her
find
on the podcast.
people. Yes, girl, she's dope. Go ahead on. But I love to find people and connect with people and learn from them. So that's the type of learner that I am. I need to see, hear, and feel. So I love to connect with individual folks. And Michelle, I'll share some folks that I'm following that I'm learning from, so you can put it in the show notes for individuals also. But yeah, y'all tap into this information that's out there to help and to help y'all and to stretch y'all into being uncomfortable.
Yes, it's all about being uncomfortable to get to that good place, right? We got to go through the uncomfortable first, and then on the other side of that, it's like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I know it was a little bit uncomfortable to go live or post
Yeah.
consistently, show up in your stories, send an email. But if you don't, no one will know about your brand. And so, because you were courageous and showed up and showed your face, your
Mhm.
brand literally blew up. And I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Thank you. You mentioned lives. I did lives a lot too. That's before like stories. Listen, we was on some of this stuff before like stories and reels, and it seemed like it was a long time ago, but y'all, it was only 3 years ago. That's how fast social media works. That's how fast it moves. But showing up live, show your face. Show your face.
Absolutely. And reels are not that old. Yes, they started and people got on them. And now I think that they are, of course, less effective because there are more people on them, but that doesn't mean that you should not use them. You should definitely use all of the
Correct.
features of Instagram to help you. So thank you so much
Mhm.
for coming on and sharing your
Yeah,
amazing story.
I
Like,
love
you're one of
you.
my, I don't want to say, I don't want none of my other clients, to think that I don't love them, but you are one of my favorite clients who has really taken everything that we've talked about, and I've seen all this stuff just develop right in front of my eyes. So it's like really exciting, and I'm just your cheerleader every single day to keep cheering you on. I can't wait to hear about your events and everything that you're doing,
Thank
that you have coming up, and
you.
continuing to watch your brand evolve.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the support and thanks for having me.
Yes. And if you love this episode, please let me know. Make sure you tag me at Michelle L. Thames on Instagram. Let me know, what are some of the gems that we dropped here today that you can relate to. Maybe if you want us to talk about a different topic here on the Social Media Decoded podcast, let me know. But thank you all so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you all in the next one.